Hey everybody, thanks for joining us.
Hi.
Yeah, let's do your questions. Go ahead and unmute yourself, type in.
Yeah, go ahead, Paulina, start it off.
Hey, Polly.
Hi. Hi, Greg. Hi,
Hey,
Sam. How are you? I have several questions too. Okay.
good.
One is that I was asking you last course that I have a complete family that the father has lots of money, but the children, the youngsters, they are like they are opening offices, restaurants, and they are it's not working like they think it has to work. So they think that maybe somebody, send them not good vibes. So I don't know if it's that or how can I work with them so they can open to have manifestation and have the things that they have open, they can flow. Do you understand what I mean?
I think. So, what's the part about the father, though? I don't understand
The father has money, okay? It's not the problem, the father, but he helped the youngsters to open restaurants and a factory of furniture, but it's not working. It's not working like they work a lot, but it's not going the way they wanted to. So they don't know. I think there are not good vibes there, and I think this is stopping them to flow in the business. So I don't know if
what's the father's role? Like, what's the thing? Like, why is the father in the
the
issue?
father gave the money to them so they can begin the businesses.
Okay.
And the father does well with the money he has, but he has three children, three youngsters. One is
Okay.
working in a bank, and the other two they are like how do you say when you are not flowing, like the businesses, it's not working like they think it was going to work.
Hmm.
So I don't know what to do with them. I wanted to do oils with them, but I don't know which protocol to use with them. So all the family can work with that and they can unwind whatever the things are going to them. They are going, what it's happening to them. I don't know what's happening to them.
Yeah, no, I mean nobody's doing anything to
I know.
them. So, um, like you could do the materialization breath, but I would say the focus a lot of times with that with people would be to like, oh, the business is stronger or more money's coming to me or whatever it is. I would have them do the materialization breath on like how they're running the business. Does that
They
make
work
sense?
very hard.
But working hard doesn't necessarily mean results. Like I would have them do it on just their processes, like how they're doing it, how they're taking it to market, like whatever that is. That's what it looks like the issue is. Yeah.
Okay,
Um,
so I don't do the protocol of when you have a witchcraft or something like that, I don't
no,
do
it's
that
not
with
the
them.
issue. It's not the
Okay,
issue. Uh-uh.
so I do the materialization
Hmm.
breath
Hmm.
method, and then I don't know if I have it, I will see somebody put it there.
Yeah. So
And
I would use probably like cinnamon. You could use cinnamon. You know what I would use? I would use helichrysum.
uh,
Yeah. I mean, cinnamon would be okay. Helichrysum looks like it'll work a lot better.
okay,
Um, Another choice could be milfoil.
I will see what's the name of that. Okay, I can see. Okay.
Yeah, I think those are your good choices. Maybe if you don't have those, and vetiver would be a B choice, but I would probably do helichrysum as my first choice.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
But because they need to do it all together, right?
No, they could do it individually, but I would have everybody, if you can, try to get them to do it like, at least 3 or 4 times a week or something.
Okay.
But again, the focus is on like how the business is run.
Okay.
Yeah.
And another questions I wanted to ask you, if
Mhm.
I if I want to work, like I told you the other day, with all the oils that I have, and I want to work more with because I always have patients, but then I have a time that I don't have too many, and then they come a lot, and they don't come, and so there is something that I can do so it will be more stable, or it's like that.
Is say that again?
I
Like
like
it's
this
more
week.
stable or
This
what?
week it was low because I changed my prices, I raised my
Oh, I see.
prices. So I
Yeah.
think, with the materialization of raising the prices, I don't know if that's why it makes that the patients, they think about it. I don't know, but
Okay.
I decided to raise my prices.
Okay. How do you get your people? How do you get your clients?
How do I get them?
Mm.
From one voice to another, and in the social media.
Okay. Um, like when you're on social media, what are you presenting? Just that.
Well, I talk to them about, I read cards, and then I am very empathic, so I tell them a lot of things that I see, and I heal them. So they see my work and they call me, but a lot
Okay.
of people, eh?
All right. All right. Um, I would talk about like how, like going back to the social media, and this would spill over to the people that you work with that also refer other people.
Mm-hmm,
But I would educate them like it's like this. You know how like sometimes you'll be working on somebody and you go, "How do you feel?" And they'll go, "I feel about the same." And then you go, "How's your shoulder feel? What's the pain level?" And they go, "It's better." And then what about this? Like, how's your mind? Are you still grinding on those thoughts? And they'll go, "No, it's better." And how's your stress level? Your body feel relaxed? You'll go, "Yeah, it's better." And then
mm-hmm,
you'll go, "Okay, so how do you feel?" And they'll go, I guess I feel better." Right? Like, so sometimes people don't necessarily, especially when you're dealing with the general public,
mm-hmm,
they don't always know what to address and that there's even an issue there. So like on your social media thing or amongst your clients, say, you talk about stress or you talk about trauma or you talk about, cords or, you talk about something and, always keep it like evolving, not just always saying the same thing over and over again. But I would talk about different pieces and not just like cords, but like why cutting or cleaning cords is really super important, and you know why you should do that, and you know, like I would do, even if it's just like little 2 to 5 minute things, and put that out there and see what that does for you. That looks like it's the biggest thing that will be a draw for you to bring people in, and keep it short. Like don't make don't be like me where I go on and on and on and on and on and on. You know, it's different because you guys are very experienced. But like when I deal with the general public, I keep the things really, really short. You know, I just say very, very simple things, and I say it really repetitively so that they get the idea. You know, I think if you do some of that, it will increase the readings, it will increase the sessions, you know, or will increase the referrals. And yeah, I think you just need a little bit more of that.
And I need to work with a protocol or an oil so I
No,
can change
no,
that.
you could just talk about ideas and like how you would address them. It doesn't always have to be with an oil.
No, no, no,
Yeah.
for me.
Oh,
It,
for you.
yeah, so I can be more attuned to materialization. I don't know, because I have been
For
working.
for you, do the materialization breath with cinnamon.
Okay, okay.
Cinnamon. Cinnamon's very good for expression. And you were on the class last weekend, right? Remember
Yes,
the plant teachers? Do the plant teacher thing with cinnamon and then do the materialization breath.
because I don't have the kit yet, so that's why.
Oh, okay. Do you have cinnamon? Or
Yes, yes.
okay. Yeah, then just work the cinnamon with how we did over the weekend.
The breathe is the turtle breathing. It's like the turtle breathing, or is
Yeah,
different?
but like with you're holding the breath. So you
Yes,
inhale,
I know.
hold, up, exhale.
Okay,
Like that. Yeah.
so I do it a long time.
Do it like 8 or 9 times, rest for a few minutes, do it another 8 or 9 times, do a few cycles of it. And
Okay.
you know that weekend where, not this weekend, but next weekend, the Revitalize and Thrive, that has a bunch of the materialization breath in it. So we'll be talking about it quite a bit. And it's a free class.
Ah, okay,
Yeah,
okay,
so jump in on that. And I have big lists of like why to use the different oils for different approaches for the materialization breath.
okay. So that one is going to be Saturday and Sunday, or only
Yeah,
one
yeah,
day? Or
Saturday and Sunday. Not
and,
this weekend, but next weekend.
okay, not the one that it's coming, the next one.
Right, right.
Okay, perfect. Okay, thank you, Greg.
You're so welcome. Good talking with you.
Please send me the protocols and the recordings if I send it to you in the WhatsApp. I don't know if you receive it.
Probably WhatsApp's not the best way to communicate.
Ah,
Like probably send us emails. Yeah,
okay, thank you.
yeah,
Thank you. Okay, thank you.
yeah,
Yeah, just what Greg said.
yeah. We already have too many things that we check, and we had WhatsApp for a little while, but we never, never checked it very often. And so it's easier with emails.
Perfect, thank you.
Yeah.
And then go ahead, Lali.
Hey, hey,
Hey, it's good to see you.
good to see you. How are you doing?
I'm I'm
You say
okay.
hi to Edward for me? How's Edward doing?
Yes, he's
Yeah,
doing good. Yeah, it was a busy weekend, but yes, I did. He's doing
yeah.
good. Thank you. So yeah, I'm doing better after the session. Just feel more like everything feels stronger.
Mhm.
I've been working with the protocols we talked about, and then the shoulder is still an issue. So I just keep working on it. It's
I
still,
would work the spinal thalamic tract for a little while and then, keep the shoulder comfortable.
yeah.
But I'd work the spinal thalamic tract for a while and then like, maybe after a week or two, go back after the shoulder.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
just keep putting
Your
stuff on
your
it. So
your
yeah.
spine and your diaphragm are really super wound up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Better, but I mean, I've been doing it for years and they're like I do healing on it and oils, but I still go get like somebody to do manipulation on my diaphragm, and it's not
Mm-hmm.
pleasant, but man, no matter how good it is, it always can be a little bit better. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Yeah.
So yes, I'll keep working those. The thing that's a little bit weird is though, when I'm fine, I can move the shoulders, I can do exercises, I'm fine. If I'm jumping a little bit, not that I need to jump a lot, but if I'm jumping a little bit, even if I'm doing squats a little bit, the left shoulder blade feels like it feels like it's out of place. And I'm not sure if
The
there's
shoulder
like
blade,
a
the shoulder blade feels like
yeah,
it's out of place.
yeah, yeah. I don't know if there's a rib that moved a
I
little
mean,
bit.
jumping is a little bit hard on the shoulders just because you tighten your shoulders up when you jump to kind of stabilize them, but squatting, it shouldn't be an issue.
Yeah, and I don't jump as much, but if I do exercises that I feel like the body is moving a little bit more, I feel like, oh, this is like weird.
Hmm.
And I know when
And
I
it's
went to the
the left,
chiropractor, he moved something.
remind me,
Mhm.
it's the left shoulder or the right shoulder?
Left.
Well, you can look at this a couple of different ways. I mean, there's not really this is the way, you know. The shoulder girdle, some of it's on the front, some of it's on the side, some of it's underneath, some of it's on the back, some of it goes up to the neck. And so, when you have an injury, I mean, it's very likely to have some sort of muscle imbalance. And so you can treat it in phases, like you do things to minimize the pain and everything. But like sometimes even like treating the muscle imbalances can be helpful. And the best thing to use there is valerian, but spikenard and myrrh and even vetiver are pretty close to valerian there. And sometimes I mix them all together and throw it on an area. And so like I would cover front, side, back as much as you can underneath and up on the neck. And I would actually even do a little bit on the other shoulder, because like sometimes when you have especially in the shoulder for some reason, but like when you have a shoulder that gets a little compromised, like again, I'm talking about me being in therapy a lot. Like I blew the shoulder out. I fell on some
Mhm.
ice with a bag of salt on my other side and blew this shoulder out of socket. And so, it was pretty bad. Like I thought I was going to have surgery on it. My circulation got cut off and over a period of time, I got it doing better. But now when I go to therapy, when they do therapy, this one is way more sensitive than that one. Like this one's way more wound up because it had to compensate. And
Yeah.
so like that's very common like in whiplash syndromes and things like that, where sometimes the other shoulder might need a little bit of attention as well. Because like
Mhm.
any time, muscles are playing with each other. Some are supporting, they're supporting a particular movement or a particular muscle, and then there's things that oppose it. And when something loses tone, it throws the thing that opposes it into like a spasm, right? So when it's acute, when it's fresh, the area that's in spasm is where the pain is. When it's chronic, the area that's elongated, that has like stretched out and lost tone is actually where the pain's at. So I suspect that I treat the muscle balance over here, but I'd also unwind the other shoulder a little bit.
Mhm.
And you might find that has some some help. The other thing that I would say is I'm going on personal experience that when you have issues like in the shoulder or the shoulder blade, part of the issue on anybody, but like for me, my shoulder blades are for whatever reason got really wound up even when I was really young. Like they were really bad even in my late teens. And I had range of motion and everything, but like if I got a little bit of therapy on them, I could take, like pressure or anything on anywhere on my body, but if you touch my shoulder blades, ugh, like I could barely take any pressure. And then a lot of times I couldn't even move my arms for like a day or two afterwards with like not very much pressure. And so over the years, I've just always gotten them worked on. And I find that the back heart's ability to transmute is also associated with the shoulder blades. And, either there's something that's needing to be transmuted, something that's stuck in the back heart. For me, I had something stuck in the heart. And it took me a while to unwind it. I couldn't even tell you exactly what it was. I was
See,
young, so there was bad things that happened, but it wasn't like, as you get older, you know what I mean?
huh.
And so
Um,
the more that I would unwind the shoulder blades, the more that I would have dreams about those situations, and I would release them. And back then I didn't even know energy healing. I mean, energy healing for me back then was acupuncture. And I'd get a lot of fascial work, and I just I was late teens, early 20s, and so there can be a component of that. It shouldn't be so much as it goes up into the neck. It's usually that shoulder girdle, like the shoulder blade, a little bit on the inside of the shoulder blade, between the shoulder blade and the spine, and even outside, like still on the back, but on the outside of the shoulder blade.
mhm.
And you can do, let me see, I'll tell you exactly what I used.
Okay. It came up to me yesterday, actually, the back heart. I was like,
Yeah.
should I
Oh, did
use
it really?
the,
Oh, well,
yeah,
there
yeah,
you
and I was
go.
like,
You're
should I
kind
use
of
the
on the right
back
track
heart?
here.
And I wasn't sure if I should even use the blend for the back heart and kind of clean that
So
up.
like I actually have a blend. These are things that aren't on the site, but I can just tell you things that you can use. But like I have a blend for each of the muscles of I have a blend for each of the muscles of the whole body.
Oh, wow.
Like here, I would use either Palo Santo, rosemary, verbena, or frankincense, especially frankincense Oman. And put your awareness on the shoulder blades themselves as you inhale. Like inhale on the shoulder blade, inhale on the back heart, inhale on the jaws and the back throat. Like inhale that a bunch on those areas. And part of what that does is, we talk about like fascia and we talk about trigger points and trigger points, because that is what you're dealing with. It's you had an accident, so your body has trigger points in different areas. And so trigger points are a byproduct of neurological function, endocrine function, lymphatic function, which would be tied to the immune system. It would have a little bit to do with sleep, but also part of how, I mean, there's different ways of releasing fascia. And one of the deep ways of releasing fascia is, how we talk about the homeostatic emotions. The level and degree that you have contracted fascia in the body directly corresponds to the homeostatic emotions. And so you can unwind it sometimes also by unwinding homeostatic emotions. And so when I say homeostatic emotions, it doesn't mean emotions tied to like the past events so much or the stories or things that have gone on. It's usually like injury, being in fight flight, like states of the body. Because it's like, run, fight, drink water. Like, it's really primal emotions that are trying to help you thrive in the environment. And so part of that is when you have an accident like that, your body goes into fight flight, and a lot of times it just never goes back. Like you might get it to calm down a little bit, but it's just kind of in this fight flight. Because if you think of all those things, homeostatic emotions are emotions that the body uses to get you to try to take action to survive in the environment. So, like, run, take a deep breath, pee, like all those, like, do this really fast, take your hand off the stove, like, whatever that is. And so if you think about like all the little like emotional impulses that is, they're all defense oriented. They're all about protecting the body, protecting the spine, protecting the internal organs, protecting the organism. And so what happens is your body goes into this really weird protective or defensive mode. And then over a period of time, your nervous system just stays in that defensive mode and doesn't really unwind. And so eventually what starts to happen is, it keeps contracting the fascia, the muscles start to not function as it is. It's like it just keeps going and going. And the thing, how like we talk about like healing something like deep and something we're trying to unwind, we talk about like making lots of little movements, lots of little movements. Degeneration can also happen that way. Lots of little movements, but in the wrong direction. It's going in the bad direction. And so at some point, you go several years later, like, my body's just not working anymore. It's like it reached a point where it's like it got your attention. And so, treat the body like you have been. I'd treat the other shoulder. Definitely treat that spine. Treat the spine and the diaphragm. But then I would start unwinding. I would start unwinding the areas a little bit with the homeostatic emotions, and an easy way to do that is just with helichrysum. There's much more specific ways to do it, but like whenever I'm thinking about it to myself, or when I'm talking to some of my friends that also, I used to do this kind of stuff with, like the osteopath and everything. I was always calling it like cleaning up the crime scene, whatever it was, just because it's like you don't try to make it perfect. You just try to get it doing better, and then you move on and you try to do something else and you move on and then you go somewhere else. And then at some point you step back and go, let's fine tune that area. It's in osteopathic approaches. It's this unwinding. You're unwinding the traumas and the effects of the traumas, the injuries, the misalignments, the muscle imbalance. You just keep unwinding them. And when you do that, the homeostatic emotions do flesh out. But big places to look for those, like as they're fleshing out, are the organs of blood purification. Always check that. Back throat, back solar plexus, basic. Like those are those three where it might pop out other areas, but it's usually always one of those. Like one of those guys is the perp, you know. And like you can do it with oils, you can do it with healing, you can do it with manipulations, physical manipulations where somebody gets in there. I like a combination because I find that some of them hit certain things, but it doesn't hit it all. And so I like rotating it around, and they do play off each other quite well. And so I would try that. First
So
thing, though, stay on the spine, stay on the diaphragm,
yeah,
line the other shoulder, and start playing with muscle imbalances on both sides. And then I would, since you're feeling like weird stuff in the shoulder blade itself, maybe do a little bit of breathing right on the shoulder blade, with like helichrysum, or what did I say? Rosemary. Rosemary will work. Rosemary verbena works a little better. And then frankincense, oman, or palo santo. Palo santo is one that Palo santo and marjoram, like, because I've all the different muscles, I have like a blend, but I treat the trigger points more like a chakra, like a little minor chakra. And very consistently, Palo Santo and marjoram end up in the blends. I don't set out going, oh, I'm gonna put Palo Santo in this, but when I go through and I look at what it is, they're not there every time, but they're there most of the times.
And
Yeah.
so, okay, so thank you. So okay, so if we're looking at the specific blends that you have for the muscles, so because when I'm doing Palo Santo, rosemary, or the frankincense, I have to do them separately. If I wanted to do them as a blend, then what would be the muscle
Yeah,
that
if you want, well, this one's just for the infraspinatus, which is like kind of the big muscle on the shoulder blade itself.
okay.
The infraspinatus is those three, but also milfoil.
Okay, so basically, if I'm
You can
emailing
blend
you,
all those together, like
oh, so just
rosemary verbenin, frankincense oman, Palo Santo, and milfoil. I mean, that's
yeah,
the little blend that I make. Yeah.
yeah. Well, I don't have milfoil, or I have regular frankincense, which is not going to work the same. So
It works okay. It's maybe 80% is good. So I mean, I would just use what you have.
okay. Or okay, but you have them as a blend already, if needed.
Yeah, I have every muscle, like every
Yeah.
muscle that has a trigger point, I have a blend for it. Yeah.
Okay. And then the
It's
helichrysum,
just a
am
bunch
I
of weird information that I haven't put out to you guys because it's like it's weird and it's technical and it's, I don't know. I, I
I
don't
think we like
know.
weird and technical.
Yeah, yeah. Well, there's probably a handful of people that would, but most people, as soon as they start even talking about different kinds of pain, um, that starts to be maybe a little too much. So like this is
Yeah,
much more detailed than that. So
yeah.
even other therapists, like I've had conversations with this with people who do manipulation and a little bit of energy work and stuff, and it's usually a little too much.
Yeah. And then so when we talked about the helichrysum, am I doing it the same pattern for the spine, or should I, because that's what I was doing originally, or should I
No,
just
do
switch
do
it?
it on the spot. Like do it on the spot. Do the shoulder blade, and then do your jaws, do your back throat, do the back heart.
Oh, that was for, okay, yes, there's so many, okay. So
Mhm.
this one and then the blood purification, should I do, so all of those, like the organs of blood purification and, yeah, so back throat, back solar plexus, basic, do that as well with the helichrysum?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay, okay. And then I know what
You
else
could
I want to
also
ask.
use you'd also use fascial release, from the Auric programming kit.
Oh yeah, I have a baby one, yeah, okay. Okay, so and doing the same thing, okay.
Mhm.
And then when we talked about, I've been using vetiver by itself, I've been using spikenard by itself. So basically just mixing them together and see what happens.
Yeah, I would just still use them by themselves, but like cover all the sides, but also do the other side.
Okay. And then valerian that you mentioned, which I actually don't have as an oil, taking it as a tincture, would that be beneficial as well for the area?
More topical for muscle
Okay.
imbalances, more
Yeah.
topical.
Yeah.
The only time that vetiver, or excuse me, valerian is good internally for stuff like this is on the sternocleidomastoid. If you take valerian every day for like 30 days or so, it helps to reset the inner ear because like it loosens up the sternocleidomastoid. But it takes like 30, 45 days, sometimes even 60 days to reset the inner ear. But that's usually if people have really bad balance issues.
Balance, yeah, and you mentioned that. Okay. Okay. Thank you. So yes, I'll go over everything and add to my protocols and okay, thank you.
Right.
And
The list
then
keeps getting longer and longer, huh?
I know, and I'm like, when am I? Yeah. Oh, and is there any benefit in actually doing the back heart to do the blend? Like to do inhalations with that?
With blend for the
With
muscle.
the back heart, just to do that for the
Oh yeah, you
emotional.
could. Yeah, sure. Yeah, sure.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, that's always going to be good to make that chakra function better. So it will release things that are there, but it also will make the function of transmutation. Because kind of like how I do it is like, I'm talking about, I haven't laid this out for you guys. Just like when I'm doing therapy on myself, is I do the chakra, like in an area. Like, so I would do like the back heart or, whatever. Then, like, this is how much of a geek I am. I also have a plan for every minor chakra in the body. Like, I have, like, so I'll do the minor chakras and then I go to the trigger point. Yeah. So, like, because all of it is kicking out that homeostatic emotion. And so, I start on big and then I go smaller and then I go even smaller. And then I jump in the bath and take a salt bath and just suck it all up. Usually, like if I do that, it takes like a day or two for it to keep, because everything starts functioning better. So the chakras keep pumping it out. Then I'll go through and I'll do my clinical protocols. And like, okay, I'm going to put this on my back. I'm going to put this on my shoulder. I'm going to, whatever it is. And it makes it work better. But it's a little bit of setup and again, a lot of technical stuff. So, once you get used to it, you can fire it off kind of quick, but you know, it's a lot of little oils that
Yeah.
and so a lot of times when I'm talking about it with the students, I'll just say use one oil for doing these processes or something, but you
And I
can't
mean, I'm using,
getting really specific on each muscle because like each muscle has mm, like its responsibilities and it's a personality kind of, and so they don't always respond the same way. But helichrysum is a really good one to use for that. Mugwort's really good to use for that. Mugwort will open up the channels, but helichrysum will release fascia and release the emotion. Fascia and homeostatic emotion are hand in hand. It's almost like just different ways of saying the same thing. And so the helichrysum is also antispasmodic, and so you know, you can do a lot with helichrysum. You can do a lot with helichrysum.
Okay. Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I mean, I don't mind working with a few oils and do something that actually works as opposed to like doing the same thing and it just doesn't,
Oh, I think it's
go
still
anywhere.
working. It's just
Yeah.
not working fast because you're
As
you're
fast as,
dealing with more than just the pain itself. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
No, but I like your process of like so many different things. So thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah.
And I have a few more. So, let's talk about, so there's this new thing on the website, Calm. So there's like Calm, there's like the body tonic,
She's
there's like
very
the
old.
ointment.
Like it's
So,
very
yeah, and I didn't see that before. And the ointment has a lot of different things in it.
yeah.
And and I was like, okay, it feels right. So and I got it yesterday and I started working with that. I don't think I can explain what it's doing, but
Yeah.
it's doing something.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I'm wondering really how that plays out is it something that it's good to use like all over? Would you use it mainly in like pain
Yeah,
areas?
you can use it all over. I mean, it is very good for calming down the nervous system. I think the very first place I can't remember if I used it first in the pain classes that I taught like really super early on, or in angel classes. Like the super early versions. Like they're not even, that was long, long time ago. And but it's just because of what it does to the nervous system. But part of also what it does is, when we're talking about hyper reactive uh, fight flight mechanism or hyperreactive sympathetic nervous system, which is the same thing, right? When we're talking about that, a lot of times we're talking about that it lacks tone, and when it lacks tone, it becomes like hyperactive, right? Hyperreactive. And so it's just always kind of on. And we do things to tone that so that that defense mechanism calms down. But to make that work deeper, you have to calm down the cerebral spinal fluid circulation. So Calm does that, and an oil that does that really well, like helichrysum does it to a certain extent, and Cape chamomile and Roman chamomile all do it to a certain extent. But the single oil that does that really super well is spike lavender. The other lavenders not so much, but spike, it's actually not a true lavender, but it smells like lavender, but it's actually a little bit different. Or that blend, Calm. Yeah. The blend healing elixir also does it. Just different ways of calming down cerebral spinal fluid circulation and in calming it down, because like if it gets too overactive, it's still tied to, how like sometimes when you're going, you feel a little fast and you feel like almost like a little buzzy sensation in your body, or like especially in your skin, or even down in your body. It's just like, there's just this little buzzy thing. What that is over activation of the cerebral spinal fluid circulation. So you do things to calm down the adrenals, and you tone up the vagal tone, you improve the tone there, and sometimes that will calm it down. But when it's a chronic problem, you usually have to go after the cerebral spinal fluid circulation directly, and so, in the old days, the old school medical aromatherapy guys that were physicians back in France used to inject essential oils into the body. Like, isn't that crazy? That's like nuts.
Oh my God.
Like, but you can do it almost as well, inhaling it or putting it on the body like in a tonic or an ointment. Yeah.
And so when you do that, you do it what, all over the body, or would you do it in
You put
specific
it on your problem
areas?
spots. You put on your problem spot. For me, like I'll do it on my neck and I'll do it on my abdomen, do it on my back. Sometimes I'll even do it on my feet, Yeah.
Yeah, because I've been playing with that a little bit, even to try and see if it can help with all my with the pins and needles feeling, and maybe, I don't know, somehow calm things down. So, because that's yeah. But again, it's related to everything else. But okay, so thank you. And then I have a little bit of a heavier one. So my follow-up on my brother-in-law who broke his ankle. So he had an open fracture, right ankle. He had 3 surgeries by now in the last 2 weeks. They put some screws on the outside. Something moved. They had to redo it. And then now there's like screws on the inside. And then there's like a cast on the outside, or the other way around. And then there's also, like, when the skin kind of turns black.
Yeah.
Okay, there's that happening, so they can't really close it yet. Not great about following, oil instructions, but is there anything that can be, I don't even know.
It's hard because like you would have to put it real close to the sites. You know what I mean? Like if you want to just try to do something internal, probably the black cumin and the galbanum is going to help him be more comfortable and help that reduce the inflammation and help that to heal. I've seen that start reversing it even within a few hours of doing it.
So even like the area that's like not like that the skin is
I
still
wouldn't
off?
even, yeah, like plus the doctors are doing things. I'd probably stay away
Yeah.
from putting anything there, just so the doctors don't freak out. And it sounds like he's casted, so
I guess on half of it, and the other half he already has this just screws inside. I haven't seen a picture yet. And it might be getting to people are very receptive, either they're because they are or because they're so desperate. We might be in the desperate stage. Because I mean, the doctors want to do like a skin graft and kind of, fix the skin basically. And he actually wants to wait because he thinks it can potentially heal itself. So I'm like, if he's in that mindset, maybe be more open. I don't know.
Let me look just one thing up, but doesn't sound good. I mean, I'd even put that past like like a lot of times with wounds, you'll see like they're kind of almost like ulcers, like ulcerated areas. And that one, because it's from an injury in the surgery site, yeah. I mean, I just keep going back to like your best bet. Like you're probably not going to be able to put anything on that topically. If you could, I'd probably do helichrysum, but with everything going on, that's probably not even an option.
Yeah.
And so I go back to, galbanum and black cumin and turn
So,
on like 3 times a day.
okay, so then you would do, so what, like a couple of drops maybe 3 times
I
a
do
day or
3 or
more?
4 drops 3 times a day. I do 3 or 4 drops of each of them 3 times a day.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you. Yeah, it's
And you never, you don't know. Like that's
yeah.
the thing is,
Mm-hmm.
that sounds, I mean, when it's like dark black like that, I've saved it a few times, but it usually was doing multiple things, not just one approach. But
Yeah.
it's,
So
and it depends on the health of the person. There's
mm-hmm.
factors there that
Exactly. And then I mean I can do more healing. I'm just not sure how receptive it is to that. So it's like
yeah.
okay.
So your brother got hurt like that. That's sad.
Yeah, that's so much. I mean, overall he's doing okay, so at least that. But yeah, and I figured I'll check. So thank you. And yeah, and I'll let other people do their thing. And if there's time, I'll ask someone. So yeah, thank you so much.
You're welcome.
And then go ahead, Linda, then Megan.
Hey, Linda.
Hey, hi everybody.
How are you?
I am well, thank you. I'm having a good time with that healing spirit stuff.
Oh, good. Isn't it
There's a
fun?
small group of us that are doing it once a week, and we're going through
Oh, tremendous.
it's really fun. So there's something about the peace that comes with doing
Yeah,
that one.
no joke. Yeah, no joke.
Love it, love it.
Mm.
The question I have though is, I started working with Aerophagia. Is that Aerophagia?
Mhm.
So I'm doing 2 drops of frankincense, and then I'm doing 2 drops of the Aerophagio blend, and
Okay.
then 2 drops of the anise,
Mhm.
and one in the morning, one midday, one at night. And I've been doing this now for about I think I'm into my over my 3rd week of it, doing it pretty much every day.
Okay.
And I definitely feel like it's helping. Like things are shifting and changing, and things are calming down, and I'm really happy with it. My question is, how long do I keep doing this?
I would probably do it for a little while. Like, you don't have to do it forever, but how everything is feeling a bit better.
Yeah, like my digestive system feels better,
Yeah.
and the breathing, part of the reason I wanted to start it was because I kept having that like catch sometimes,
Yeah.
where it's like
Yeah.
something. Now I'm still getting that, and I'm kind of filling in with doing other things with breathing and respiratory things and all that.
Do you have that blend in like a kit or something called bronchioles?
I might.
Yeah. So if you have it,
Yeah,
inhale that onto the throat minor.
okay.
Because that you know how we do that with the chakras where we inhale into the chakra and then we do the brain soles of the feet.
Yep.
Do that with bronchioles. And if you don't have that, let me give you an option for some singles.
Okay.
But bronchioles, actually, I was going to call that throat minor. It is actually for the throat minor.
Oh, okay.
Like, I hadn't done the chakra class yet. I was like, nobody's going to know what I'm talking about. So
Do we have a throat minor one for in the chakra?
it's bronchioles. It's actually bronchioles is the throat minor. But when I made it, I hadn't done all the chakras. So I was like, if I call it throat minor,
Yeah.
people are going to know. People will know bronchioles, but that's
But I
what.
was just wondering if in the chakra class that we just
Oh
did,
no, there's no throat
there's
minor.
nothing there for the, okay.
Yeah. Um, yeah, I mean you could use your frankincense that way. You could use a nula.
Oh, I have that, huh?
Yeah. So use one of those. Yeah.
All right.
But if
I'll
you have bronchioles, use bronchioles.
Okay, I'll check for that. Great. So, but so for how much longer do you think I should, and like, should I go to every other day on the whole Aerophagia
Yeah,
thing?
you probably don't need to do it every day, but like for me, I'll treat it for a while and I'm like, oh man, I feel so much better. And then I'll still be feeling good. And then like, I don't know, a month or two goes by and then I'll go, oh, I'm just gonna check in with it. And I do it again. And it's like I feel even better. Like, you know what I mean? Like, every once in a while there's a backslide, but I kind of like the idea of doing it for a little while and then stopping and letting your body acclimate and then going back and doing it again because you are trying to like cause like physiological changes in the body, and sometimes it's helpful to let your body have like a couple moments with it. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? So maybe do it for like another week or two and then take a little break and then go for like a few weeks or something and then go, I'm gonna try it again for a couple of days. And if you feel that there was more benefit, then continue for a little while. And if after a couple of days it's like, it feels about the same, then I'd give yourself an even longer break.
Okay. Okay,
Yeah.
good. Right. And the other thing I've added in there too is the larch as the tonic, the larch
Oh yeah.
spagyric tonic. I've been
Yeah.
putting that all on at night before I go to bed.
Oh man, you're doing, yeah.
And then I'm inhaling the larch.
Let's keep it coming. I love where
I
you're
just
going with all this.
well, if it's feeling good, so I want to
Yeah,
keep it
doesn't
going.
it feel good? Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
So, okay, I will keep it all up. Thank you so very much.
You're so
Oh,
welcome.
no, one more quick question.
Mhm.
Is it typical, or have you heard recently about people getting shingles after recovering from COVID? Is there any tie?
It's hard for me to say that correlates. I'm not saying that it doesn't, but definitely in the last few years, I've treated more shingles than I have in the last 20 years.
Huh, wow.
Good chance that that is accurate, but I couldn't say for certain.
Okay. I was
Yeah,
just curious because a friend of
but
mine just got over
like
COVID and now she's shingles.
sometimes it's just like, oh, well, this is more of what gets presented, and but I don't know, between students and sessions and everything, it usually gives me a good idea of like the things going around, because I'm treating people all over the country and shingles has been a lot more of a thing. And because I was talking this out with one of my therapist friends, and some of the things like during the pandemic, I don't know that they were necessarily a symptom of COVID, but because of all the dynamics with it, people were super upset and we were all super displaced, and there was always this tension wherever you were at or doing, like, you know during the pandemic, boy, if you coughed, you just get a room full of the stink eye. Like, it was kind of crazy there for a little bit. And I would just say stress levels went a lot higher than normal. And so it's hard to say if it was COVID, if it was stress, if it's just, hard to say. But definitely, like I'd say, I said the last 3 years, like maybe the last 5 years, I've treated more uh, shingles than I have in the previous 25 years, by far, like by far.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I think you're onto something, but it's hard to say, was it COVID? Was it vaccination? Was it, I would say if it was because of COVID, it was probably from the virus itself.
Hmm.
That would be my guess. But could be stress levels, weakened immune system, who knows?
Right. Yeah. So many. I mean,
Yeah,
her
so
stress.
so
I
many
did a
factors.
psychotherapy for stress
Yeah,
immediately. It's like,
yeah.
yeah.
Hard to say what it is, but
Yeah.
you know, like we have like a constant, like if I start to even feel like some little weird breakout somewhere, I'm like, we jump on the L-lysine and everything just immediately.
Yeah.
And I've had it what, twice? Like I think I've had it twice. And I was able to get rid of it in about 48 hours, yeah.
Mhm.
But I mean it was like mega doses of L-lysine and using a bunch of Melissa and the first time was the worst. I put neem on that time and ugh, the neem is just not a pleasant smell, but it worked. And then I kind of made that blend that's for shingles, and now I use that, and I go, well, I'll use neem if I have to, but I'm using this if I can. So like Ravensar is really good for shingle oriented things, and like if I stay on top of it, like and I start to see like it might be a little bit of a flare up starting to happen. We knock it out. It hasn't really manifested too much, but you know, we watch for it, and so I find that when I'm really tired, like and I've been pushing and I'm tired, and I'm not stressed like, oh, I got this detail or that detail, but it's usually like traveling or lack of sleep or hitting a bunch of deadlines. It's always when it starts to manifest. And so I would even say poor sleep could contribute to that, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. Well, thank you. I did find the
There's-
information on your website about it, so we're working with it. So
yeah.
thank you so much.
And even like how we talk about like the body being in fight, flight, or in defense mode. I mean, that definitely contributes, I think, to the shingles. And so, I don't know if treating that right in the moment helps, but as you kind of reduce the shingles, keep looking at like, how can I calm down, that state of the body. And, both at the end of this month, we're doing that free regeneration class. And then the beginning of the December, we're going to be doing, I don't know what I'm going to call it yet, but it's basically diminishing the degenerative state and like a deep dive and, you know, doing that work, especially the diminishing the degenerative state, because that really targets that part of the nervous system. Like if you do that, it really should reduce the potential for outbreaks, because even some pain syndromes are potentially viral. Like like a back pain or a shoulder pain or something like that. There's been times where actually, nothing worked to even reduce the symptoms by 10%. And we treated it with antivirals and it went away, you know.
Mm.
And so you just never know sometimes where that kind of stuff pops up.
Right.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you very
You're
much.
so welcome. Keep me posted. If you need to talk something out, let me know.
I will definitely. Thank you.
And then go ahead to Megan, then Paulina.
Hey, Megan.
Hey, kids coming over to my house here, so if I suddenly mute myself, it's because somebody barged into my room. I'm doing Healing Spirit, like Linda. I had a question. For the lazy one in me, so the way the segment goes is it's
Yeah,
refinement, then the planet, and then protective webs, health rays, and zodiac support. When I get to the planet, can I do 2 or 3 planets in there and then go to protective
Yeah.
webs,
Yeah,
health
yeah.
rays, and zodiac
sure.
support?
Yeah. That would work. I was gonna look that up too and just. Yeah, if you wanted to do the quick thing. Yeah. I mean, if you just were doing like down and dirty and trying to go fast, you can do the spirit of whatever the planet is, and then the protective webs. I would probably fit in health rays too, but you could do a few of the planets like you were saying, and then jump in and then do the health rays and the protective web.
Okay.
That would be okay.
Okay. I didn't want to overdo it, but I've already been doing it and it seems fine, but I didn't.
Yeah, it's fine.
Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Good. How's that treating you, by the way?
It's good. I always seem to feel more the first run through of the class, so I don't notice a lot right now, but you recommended I do some more of Mercury, and I do feel like I'm kind of calming down in some of the, family drama stuff that would normally get me riled up. Until last weekend, and then I was like, okay, we have more work to do. But it's been better. Like, yeah, the way I just like my son would do kind of the same frustrating things, and I would just always just go from 0 to 60. And I was like, man, this is not budging despite, so many healing things I'm doing. And then like this past week, it was much lower. And then just, thinking about, household and family, I want to work Mars a lot too for that kind of sense of family leadership type of
Sure.
role I've been cast into. Sometimes I don't
Right.
want it, but that should probably help with family harmony, I'm thinking as well.
So like, because at first you're making a big shift and, the shift is new. So like you'll notice it and like as time goes by, the shifts are still happening. But, I think I said this in the class, I can't remember. But, part of what you're doing is you're releasing a bunch of energy from the protective webs. And so I would say, if you want to amplify the effect, go a lot harder on the protective webs. Like keep just really working the webs, because the healing spirit, like for the sun or for Mars or whatever, you're moving the energy, but the energy is still like it's coming off the webs and the webs are releasing it. But what makes you feel the effect is how much of it comes off the web. And so, at first, just any movement, you're like, ugh. But after a while, like the more you can move off faster, the quicker you're going to feel it. And the thing is with the protective webs, whatever is on those webs, you're always like your instinctive responses are always going to have a fight, flight, or defensive reaction to whatever's ever on those webs. Like the webs are tied to, like if you think about it, the webs tighten up when negative things from the environment or a person is projecting something at you, and they tighten up to keep it from going in. it's a defense mechanism. You know, it's in your energy body. It's defending you.
Yeah.
And so then they go away and that energy is stuck there a little bit and they're like, yeah, let's just stay on the red alert. Let's just, and then it's just what level of red alert are we going to be on?
Yeah.
And so as you clean that stuff off, you'll feel like, uh,
Oh yeah. The
and
first time I put the Protective Webs body tonic on, I was in like euphoria. It was
yeah,
amazing.
yeah. And that's really more your normal state. It's just the wear and tear of life has done its number on the webs. And so, whenever you want to take it deeper, just work the webs a lot more, like a lot.
Okay. Awesome. That's
Yeah.
easy.
And herbal wise, um, lobelia hits those webs as well. Lobelia will do it, like so you can take capsules or like a tincture or something. And you don't have to take very much, but that's part of what it does. And there's I think we have it, but it's not on the site yet. But you can pick it up like at uh sometimes at certain health food stores, but it's yerba mansa. Yerba mansa will also release things off the webs. And then uh linden tea. What do they call linden? That Tulul? What's that name? Tulul?
I don't know if I know.
Yeah. Like linden blossom tea or linden tea.
Okay.
Like I want to say they call it like Tulul or something,
I'll
like
look it up. There's somebody usually shares with me, so.
Teul or something like that. But like drinking that tea will also help kick it off.
Okay.
Like it like all the lobelia, the yerba mansa, and the linden blossom tea all relax the webs. And when the webs relax, it releases things off the web. The
Oh.
reason why those things are stuck are the webs are like, they're
Mm-hmm.
tight, like a tight muscle.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Definitely try that. Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And it's Tila or Tilu, both.
Like, how do you say it?
Tila or Tilo, both
Oh,
can
so
be used.
so Tila or Tilo. Tilo. Yeah. I'm making up words over here. To loo like it's gonna make up a whole new language.
And I know a lot of you guys know, but Robert does post these, what we're doing in chat and Greg's recommendations and things. And so it can always be helpful as well to find it that way. And then go ahead, Paulina, then Robert.
Hey, Paulina.
Let's get you unmuted. Or no, you are unmuted. Why can I not hear you? Paulina? We can go ahead.
Greg, another question.
Mhm.
If I had problems with the when it was when I was healing a lot of time with COVID to a lot of people, my
Mhm.
plaquettes, I don't know how to say it in English, plaquettes. ¿Cómo se dice, Miguel? Plaquetas. The plaquettes were very, very low and I was
Hola,
dying.
Oh,
can
were
you
they
hear me?
sticking together or
The
the
white
platelets
blobs.
just dropped?
No, they dropped so much that I was I was dying. So the doctor. Mhm.
Hmm.
So the
And
doctor
what
told
about your
me,
white blood cell count? Did your white blood cell count change or anything like that?
they low down. I had 36,000 and the minimum was 150. So the doctors, they say, something, you cannot brush your teeth so hard and this and that because you are going to have an inside, how do you say, like fight with the blood and you are going to die because you are going to get like desangrada, Miguel, ¿cómo se dice? I will let you know. And
Like bleed to death.
thank you. Thank you, my love. So, they were very scared. So, I began to heal myself, and my son began to heal me.
Mhm.
And they thought I had cancer. They thought I had a lot of things, but they gave me like some medicine for a week that it was like $1,500.
Oh,
And
wow. It's crazy.
yeah, very crazy. So I drink 2 or 3, I remember, and then I went to the doctor, and he said, I cannot believe how you managed to heal yourself, because he says, what you do? And I say, I am a healer, this and that. And I explain to him, and I say, what you have, you don't heal it so quickly. It's more slow to heal yourself. So now you are okay. So I began to my global, I don't remember it was the white or the red ones. They began to get balanced, and I began to get better. So I didn't know what to do, and I didn't know what to smell, and I only heal myself. There is something for the plaquettes, or I don't know how to say it.
I would use yarrow and German chamomile. I would go back and forth between the two.
And chamomile, okay.
And what's
Yeah,
the,
and internal,
okay.
Internal, okay.
like 2 or 3
Yeah.
drops at a time.
Every day?
Not every day, but like 3 or 4 times a week. The yarrow especially will help with the excessive bleeding.
Oh, okay.
And which chamomile?
German.
German chamomile. And another question, what's the Megan said about the course? Is the planet course that I took, or is another one? I have to. You remember you spoke with Megan right away, and she asked you something about the planets, and I don't remember if it's what course is it? Is that one?
It was the healing spirit.
Okay, it's different.
Yeah.
Okay, so I will write it on. So when you give it again, thank you, Greg. Thank you so much.
And then go ahead, Robert, then David.
Hey,
Hey,
Robert.
Greg. How are you?
Doing good.
Doing good.
How's your mom doing, by the way?
My mom is doing a lot better. How shall I say this? She came back from a trip. She's been sleeping really well, but sort of in a troubling way. She still feels the need to take a nap every day.
Mm.
But she feels that both the nap and the nighttime are deep sleep, and she's feeling better in an overall sense.
Yeah.
Any guidance?
Yeah, I would let her sleep like that. I hear through the grapevine somebody's been doing healings on her at night, so uh, let her sleep real deep. Like let her sleep for a bit. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, I didn't discourage the sleep. I said, well, if
Yeah.
that's what your body needs, great. And at some point it'll decide that it no longer needs them to heal and it'll get better.
Yeah, and the healings are probably knocking her out. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you.
Well, it's not me, it's some other guy.
Oh, okay. Still, thank you for
I was
telling
trying
me
to be really vague. You figured it out.
that. I did catch that, yes. So after the Vital Centers class,
Hmm?
Robin and I have started doing a Vital Center oil every night.
Oh, great.
And we just rotate through them, and I don't even keep track. I take a picture each night of the bottle so I know what I did, and I'll try not to repeat until I do all 11.
Hmm?
And we did this because of what you said in the sort of
Oh, yeah.
global sense of
Right.
start here and work down. Um, and this is a multi-pronged question. Um, I remember when I was in pain, the pain that I felt in my left leg that was from scoliosis and various other things. And going back to, I think it was Lali's question about calm, and
Mhm.
I was thinking that for me, there were several times that I felt I just wanted to jump out of my body, or I was done. I couldn't handle the pain anymore.
Right.
And would calm, had I had it at the time, would that have been a good choice just to
It
bring?
could have, like, you know, because part of what you're doing there is you're calming down the central nervous system. You know how we talk about fight, flight, and rest and repair. That's part of the involuntary part, and then there's the somatic part, and then there's a peripheral part. This like is the whole nervous system itself. And so um you know, any time that the body is agitated, when there's a little bit of anxiety, like you said, like you felt like you could jump out of your skin, or and you know, I think we've all been there at some point, especially with pain. Like, you know, you're just on your like, ugh. You know, galbanum can help, myrrh can help, spikenard can help. But the reason that I made calm way back in the day was to calm down the central nervous system, because even calming down the nervous system like that, the whole nervous system, you know, it allows it to refine itself. It allows kundalini to move, but it also is like when you're communing with deities or angels, it helps with that. And so um it's helpful for that. But part of, if you think about, like, even when divine energies come in, especially more than what we're used to, it can be so displacing sometimes that it can cause kind of a like a pain response. Not quite pain like ouch, but like your body is just like, ugh, I don't know about this. Ugh. You know, it's like it can handle so much, but then if more keeps coming in, it throws your body into a little bit of like crisis mode. And so the idea was to the try to calm that down so that you can integrate or go deeper. But for pain syndromes, like, it would calm the body down. And, you know, I had kind of forgotten about it, and a couple people just recently ordered it. And I was like, oh, yeah, I completely forgot about this blend. And so I start playing with it again. I was like, this is amazing. How have I not been using this all the time? You know, but it's just one of those ones that, I mean, God, I think I made it like 15 years ago or something. And I've refined it and tweaked it a little bit, but um that idea of what you're talking about, you could even use it on the spinal thalamic tract, how we do the brain, spine,
Mhm.
and brain, soles of the feet. Um, that could be very, very soothing as well. And so, be it topical inhalation, you know, it would definitely, like when you said, like, yeah, I felt like I was going to jump out of my skin. It would be one of the ones that I would go to, you know.
Mhm.
Yeah,
Okay.
like things like you know, things that push the threshold, you know, because even there's that old threshold blend. That's the whole idea is, you know, because a threshold is like you might be having some sort of agitation or even pleasant experiences. You can hit a threshold, you know, like receiving love. Like some people can only receive so much, and then something happens. And what a threshold means is like you're having an experience, be it good or bad, and at some point it shifts like your behavior, like, but not in a good way, right? So, you know, you start you know, trying to stop the situation, or like with pain you get agitated and you get upset and like, like your body has a threshold at some point where it's just like, enough, I've had it, enough. And so in a way, sometimes that is what helps you to make a change. But there's sometimes things that you can't make a change about. Like, you know, like if you're in a bunch of pain, it's like, well, I would love to make a change, but, you know, what am I really going to do? You know, but like if you're in some situation where you're dealing with a difficult person or a difficult boss or something, you're like, that's it, I'm out of here. Like, I can't deal with this anymore. You hit your threshold, and then at some point you're like, I have to make this situation different. So that idea is calm will do it, threshold will do it, galbanum, spikenard, myrrh, all of those. One that works really well, but we can't get it anymore. Like, hopefully they start distilling it again, but it's saffron. But you know, there's no genuine saffron on the market right now. Like, it's all fake, you know. So I have it in a tincture, and I have it in an extract in a topical oil. But as far as the essential oil, it's all, there wasn't very many people making it to begin with, but what's out there has all been pretty adulterated. So when we find some, we'll bring it back, but it's the same idea. You're treating that threshold. That's why, like, a lot of times in the Ayurvedic tradition or the Hindu tradition, they'll put like the tincture or the extract of saffron, like in sesame oil or something, and they'll put it right here on the ajna, and they'll say it's for overall good health for the body, or some version of that. And basically what they're doing is they're treating the thresholds of the body, but also the threshold of the mind, because sometimes it's the mind that is just like, enough, I can't take it anymore. It's usually when that happens, the mind has been super overstimulated, like super overstimulated.
Yeah, and I'm thinking back, and I know the times when the pain got the worse, part of me was like, I just need a night of good solid sleep with no
Mhm.
pain, and I'll be much better the next day.
Mhm.
And I don't quite remember what shifted one day, and that next day was great. And
Right.
then
Probably somehow you got good sleep, because sleep will
yeah,
pop you out of it. Like,
and
even tarragon and benzoin, things that push you into deeper parasympathetic activity, vagal tone, spike, again, going back to those. Um, Sometimes that will shift you out of that place, but it's, if you look at it, the body's in too much of defense mode and like no rest, and at some point you just start getting to this place of like, I can't take it anymore. And
right.
so your body is trying to push you to make a change, but that's not always possible, but your body doesn't know that. So
Yeah,
it's generating a bunch of, now as I'm talking that out, what else might work is Melissa. Melissa would probably work. Yeah.
and I take Melissa daily, so it's not like
Yeah.
I didn't
If
have
you're in
that
a
to my
crisis like
advantage.
that, like, calm, and then Melissa, just like hit it real hard, and it would probably take you out of it.
And part of me, again, looking back from where I'm at today, I'm almost completely pain free. That
Mhm.
doesn't, I have symptoms and I can tell when something's not right, but
Yeah.
I'm not in constant pain. I can tell things like the vital centers is contributing toward full recovery.
Right.
And uh, it sounds like calm was one of those things in any of its forms, vagal tone or whatever, Melissa, helped
Mhm.
shift me enough that my body came back online.
Mhm. Mhm.
But there's times where it would be nice to just pull out something like calm and say,
Mhm.
put this body tonic all over your body, sleep, and in the morning, you'll have shifted enough that your body will be on the positive side.
Yeah. So, like, talking that out, like as you're saying all that, I'd even throw larch into that mix. Just lay on the bed and just like, just put a bunch of drops on your body, and like 20 drops. And because part of what larch does is it kind of calms down that like metabolic crisis where everything's just getting agitated and hyper reactive. But part of like how it does that calming effect is that it starts dilating the bronchioles. It starts opening up and relaxing the bronchioles. And part of like if you go back and you looked at it like a scientist, like, okay, I'm watching Robert as he goes through this, you'll notice that the breath is usually short and rapid, and the bronchioles have gotten really constricted. Anytime there's pain, almost guarantee you there is bronchial spasms. I mean, they are so intertwined. And so you just start unwinding the pieces. And then at some point you go, okay, I'm getting there.
Mhm. And I don't remember the day, I don't remember the time, but there was a period of about 3 days that I slept remarkably almost 6 hours straight
Oh,
and
yeah.
woke up more in discomfort than in pain. And that was the turnaround.
Yeah.
And from there it was just like witnessing it get better.
Yeah. Yeah.
And to now I can actually look back and see it. So I know the oils had a lot to do with it, and I was using oils almost constantly, multiple times a day, different oils, different parts of the body. I don't know which one it was, but it was a contribution of all of them with all the other stuff going on. And it was like, today is like, that relief.
Yeah.
So anyway, thank you very much.
You're
That
welcome.
that helps a lot.
Good, good. Yeah, let me know what you experience.
I'm going to order some Calm, and my wife is dealing with some pain, and I think that will again put her over the edge to the positive side
Oh, good.
and give her 2 or 3 days of that, and she'll begin to
Yeah.
turn around too.
Yeah.
So, thank you.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, David, then Lolly.
Hey, David.
Hey, Greg.
Hey, how are you?
Thank you for the healing the other evening. So thank you so much. That was wonderful. I'm going to have to leave in about 3 minutes, but I wanted to talk to you. I found out I have pretty high blood pressure.
Okay.
I wonder what you would recommend for me.
Yeah. So, there's a lot of different reasons why people have high blood pressure. So first off, are you having any like edema, like swelling in like the ankles or the legs or anything like that?
I had pain in the bottom of my foot a couple times.
But what about swelling, like edema?
No swelling.
So the thing that's a very common thing is like the blood vessels will get tense. And so it makes it harder for the body to circulate the blood.
Okay.
First you look at edema and see if, you're basically looking at fluid volume. Like, is the body having to push too much fluid, too much water in the body? It kicks it off into the tissues, things like that. And so, if that's not present, I mean, I'd still might think about a diuretic like, lovage or parsley or juniper or something like that.
Oh, really? Okay.
Just to take down the fluid volume and, reduce salt intake right off the bat. But then I like to use this combination of Gotu Cola that you can get at pretty much any health food store. And then also L-citrulline. So L and then CIT. I mean, I don't know how to spell it.
We have it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So, and I mean, I would do like 3 capsules like twice a day of the Gotu Cola, and probably like 2 or 3 capsules a day of the L-citrulline. And that should start bringing the blood pressure down. If it doesn't, then we got to explore some other things, but that's pretty consistently will help.
Okay.
You can use oils and things, but I always find those herbs work better.
Okay,
So
I
why
have
try
lovage.
harder with oils when you can just do it with those things?
Sure. I've got oils. I think I've got Coca-Cola too. I've got lovage. I mean, should I use that internally, and how much and how?
Yeah. So this is what I like to do is do you have a blood pressure cuff?
I do, yeah.
Okay. So monitor your blood pressure a couple of times a day, 2 or 3 times a day. And then start taking the lovage. You want to definitely notice that you're peeing a little more often or more volume when you're peeing, right? So like a lot of times, 2 or 3 drops, 1 to 2 times a day. I do it earlier in the day so that you're not getting up through the night to pee. And uh, sometimes I'm not thinking and I'll take it right as I'm going to bed, and then I realize, I probably shouldn't have done that.
Yep.
And the other thing you can do is also like a salt bath of like the lovage, or parsley or juniper. Um, that would also probably do it as well. And after you've done that for a day or two, see if that shifted your blood pressure very much. If it didn't, then I would go through and do the Cola and the L-citrulline.
Okay,
And then, you keep watching it, but you should notice there's starting to be a lowering of the blood pressure within a day or two. Like it
wow.
might not be hitting the target yet, but it's starting to go down. And what is the first and second number? Like when you take a blood pressure,
It's high.
do you know off the top of your head?
Yeah, I can pull it up. It's high. Hold on 1 second. It's great to see you, by the way.
Yeah, it's good to see you too.
So my last reading was, um, just, I can't pronounce it, but it's 148/98.
Okay. That's actually not too bad. Like
Okay.
that's like high normal. So
Okay.
still a little bit high, but let's like do you have any like blood sugar issues or anything like that, or
At various times in my life, I have. I
okay. But
don't,
nothing that is massive or anything like that.
I don't really know. I'm going to get a
Yeah.
blood sugar monitor, so I could start testing myself.
Sure. Yeah. So you probably, like with your blood pressure being there, you probably will be able to manage it with the lovage or the juniper or the parsley or whatever.
Oh,
And then you know the Cola, the L-citrulline. Part of what you would want to look at too, which you're okay, like the differentiation between the first number and the second number.
yes.
Second number keeps climbing, like that's not good. Like if it was 140/100, or like if they both elevate, it's like okay, you're high normal, but you know slightly out of normal range. And so, but if that second number starts going up, a lot of times that is the vein related issue. So
Okay.
like when you start doing the combination of the Cola and the L-citrulline, it will make that ratio more appropriate.
Cool.
And so I still, there was somebody just the other day that, they couldn't get into their doctor and their blood pressure was going up really high, and, what can we do? And I was like, well, um, I was traveling. I didn't think I had time to do healing. And even then, it's like blood pressure, especially, I like to treat it with physical, like herbs or oils or whatever. And so
Right.
put them on the Cola L-sertraline thing. And by the time when they went to the doctor was like, you're fine. You don't need medication.
Really? Okay,
Yeah, it was
cool.
that good. Yeah, it was that good. Now, it doesn't always work. Like most times it does, but there's other issues that can be elevating blood pressure, but that usually nails a lot of it.
Okay.
Because
I also,
Coca-Cola is a venous tonic, like so it has to do with the veins and the blood, and how the blood's moving in the body, getting blood up to the brain, all those things. And then the L-citrulline relaxes the vessels, and so that combination usually works. Yeah.
super. Thank you so much.
Yeah, you're so welcome.
I'm so excited. I can't wait to try this.
Yeah.
Thank you.
You're so welcome.
And then go ahead, Lali, and then we have some chat questions.
Hey. So a few follow-ups. So the healing spirit. I like Megan's idea. That works for me just fine. How many can we fit in there? So let's say we're
Whatever your
doing
body can handle, honestly. I
so
mean, what's going to happen is you're going to be throwing stuff off the protective webs. And so you'll start to feel a little congested if you're sensitive. And so like, as long as your body's handling it, you can go for it.
okay, because you're releasing a lot and then you're
Yeah,
bringing
you are releasing a bunch.
yeah, okay. So
Yeah.
maybe half and half and then okay. And then going back to the calm blend,
Mhm.
can you take it internally?
I don't
I'm
remember
not
that
sure.
being one to take internal, but let me just look it up.
Okay.
It was from such a long time ago. I have to go back into old recipe books.
Oh, it looks on the website, it looks like it has ASAP. So then probably the question is not relevant.
Yeah, let me see what's in
What are you looking up, Greg?
colon.
Yeah, we have.
Oh yeah, Minorna, sage. See, his marjoram. I mean, if you took a little bit, it would be okay, but I wouldn't. You know.
Okay, yeah.
I would.
And I saw it before, but somehow I think I skipped the word ASAP and now I'm like, okay, so that's a no.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then would it be beneficial for me to take valerian every night? I've been doing it the last couple of nights and I'm like,
I mean, it wouldn't hurt your sleep, and might release the sternocleidomastoid, but a lot
that's what
of, like, when you're talking about how your head moves like this, that's actually not the sternocleidomastoid. That's a muscle called the levator scapula. And so, like when it hurts and you're turning the opposite way, like if it hurts over here when you go like this, it's your trapezius, but when it hurts like this, it's your levator scapula. So it's like it hooks up like kind of down like behind the ear, not quite all the way to the back, and then comes down and attaches to the shoulder.
and that's the and
Shoulder
there's
blade.
a point and there's a point there that I actually feel, yeah, I can actually feel that. Okay.
Yeah.
And the valerian, I was actually wondering maybe it would help release the TMJ a little bit.
I mean, it wouldn't hurt. I don't know that it was going to help, but it definitely wouldn't hurt.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then when we talked about doing valerian or vetiver or myrrh or spikenard, doing those or together on the shoulder blade, so do that
Like on the
neat or
shoulder,
is it
front, side, top, back,
right?
like
But
get it
will
all. Yeah.
to put it in like what, like an oil, like massage oil, would that
Yeah,
be
massage oil or alcohol, like a
okay?
body tonic and
Yeah, so blend it into something. Okay, sounds good. And then you know what, I'll have if there's time after the questions, then I'll go again. But Sam, you go ahead and do that first. Yeah. Thank you.
Rolling right now, so good timing. I'll find it here. Okay. What's that? Lots of good Q&A today. Give me a sec. It was quite a bit earlier on here, so.
I have a quick question while you look.
Okay.
Hey, how are you?
Yeah, go ahead. We could hear you and now we can't. No? Barbara, you disappeared on us. Okay, I'm gonna go ahead. I found the question here in chat. I have some new pigmentation around the mouth area. Is there any oil that could help with that?
Like it got darker?
Yeah.
Like the skin around there just got a lot darker or something. Is it like patches or is it like the whole area?
So it's a little bit darker and patches.
Hmm. Are they more brown?
It's just under the lip. No, we can see about the brown. Brownish.
Yeah. I mean, this is a shot in the dark, but you know, I was reading a study just not too long ago where they were using sandalwood applied to something like that neat, and you know, you would have to do it for a while, but they were getting moderate success with that. And so I mean, I would give that a shot. Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah. I'll see if I have anything else in my notes, but off the top of my head, I don't know that I have a whole lot on pigmentation.
And thank you for the shibumi oil. How can it be used for relationship healing?
I would do the 3 brains with it. You know, you could use it, you could use it like on the quadrants and then do the 3 brains, which would be sex, Mingmen, front solar plexus, back heart, brain, and crown.
So up.
Yeah, so I would work it up. Yeah. Yeah.
Oh. They're clarifying the gift from the newsletter, which is actually eucalyptus smithy, not shibumi.
Oh, I see, I see. Um, yeah. Um, that's really good for like doing like what salt baths, diffusing, putting a little bit on your chest, a bunch on your wrists, and call it good. Like, you know, you don't necessarily have to do a pattern with that. If you do want to do a pattern, again, do the 4 quadrants and still the 3 brain. But a lot of that you can just do like topically or inhalation, you know. Salt baths with that, it's very nice because it's very soothing. It's like it cleans up the energy body really well. Remember how when we were doing the auric programming, there's the auric programming, but we could break it down to where we do the Sanlofon technique and the auric waves and you know the different sections. It would be like associated with the Sanlofon technique about breaking up blockages in the body. So instead of doing each of the like the chakra root cleanser and Moses, and you know, those are very specific. This one's very, very general, very, very general. I mean, it's not a replacement, but it's a good way to do maintenance and it's a good way to do some cleanup. And on top of that, it's very soothing, you know. So yeah, do salt baths, diffuse it, put it on your body, rub it on your feet, you know, things like that. Yeah. Yeah.
And for you guys who are lucky to be in the Q&A and didn't read my newsletter yet,
Yeah.
we are giving a free gift of a 30 ml eucalyptus
big bottle.
smitty. It's a big
Yeah.
bottle. And the newsletter has a description about it. We also did a blog post about it. And this special gift is only available for 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, and Robert did post the link to it as
Yeah.
well in the chat. Thank you, Robert.
Yeah. 30 ml, big ounce bottle.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like our way of giving back to you guys. So
And there's more goodies to come. Just keep reading our newsletter. Um, sorry. So, different question now. My husband has a torn ligament in his shoulder. He wakes up with pain. Any ideas?
torn ligament, it takes a while to heal, because ligaments and tendons have poor blood supply. So things like helichrysum, pain soothe, helichrysum mixed with Eucalyptus citrodora, all of those are helpful. I would also use black cumin internally and galbanum on the wrists. 3 drops of black cumin 2 to 3 times a day, and galbanum 3 or 4 drops a few times a day. And if you even want to do a step further, Sylvester pine, like on the wrists or the tops of the feet, will help elevate cortisone levels in the body and help with the repairing of the ligament. And so it usually diminishes pain somewhat, but yeah, it does help that to repair faster.
Thank you. And then go ahead, Letty.
Hey,
Hi, Greg. Hi, Sam. How are you doing?
how are you?
Good, good. Greg, so today we didn't have school because voting, right? So, but we still have to go to work. So we had like professional development. But I just felt really awkward today. I just felt like I did not, like not connected.
Mm.
Do you think it's gonna take a while, or do you think things are gonna change, or like?
Not connected because of what we have been talking about, or
Yes.
yeah. Hard to say. I would use Thyroid's bunch, but I mean you're in the middle of a conflict, and not just a conflict. You're in the middle of a little bit of a power struggle, and so it's probably not going to feel good for a little bit. There probably is even going to be another flare up. So I would say do things that, you know, like the idea of a Thyroid, we talk about like, okay, it cleans up the stuff between us and the other person. Part of what it's doing, going back to that idea of homeostatic emotions, is it's cleaning up the stimuli that's coming from other people that makes our body reactive. So I would do that. Like I would inhale the etheric chords a bunch.
Mhm.
I'd even go like think of the different people and do that, but I'd even do it like on some of the chakras. You know, you could even go through and do it on all the chakras, but the big ones are going to be the ajna, the throat, the solar plexus, back solar plexus, and power struggle, usually Ming Men basic, like that. Maybe a little bit of the navel. And then rub spikenard on your feet. It'll help you deal with the ordeal.
Okay. Thank you so much.
And the healing spirit class, I would say work Mars. Just every day for a week or so, just keep working Mars. Because the idea with Mars is,
that going to be I want what I want and I'm not backing down?
well, you're breaking down like boundaries is not the right word. You're breaking down the walls, and like when we look at it from our logical mind, we see like, oh, there's a boundary or there's this, but really what you're breaking down is when you're in the middle of a conflict, you're in quantitative action. You're trying to get a desired result, and these people were trying to get a desired result. right? So that usually stimulates a back and forth. And in the extreme, that is violence, in the extreme.
Mm-hmm.
And you're wanting to break down the wall or the boundary that keeps it from going to qualitative action, which is even though you might have a conflict, it might be communication, it might be patience and tolerance, but it's setting an example and inviting reciprocation, right? And sometimes it can be resolved that way. Like I said the other night when you asked about it, they're going to do it again. It's just a matter of time. But do the things that you said, but get to that place where you're not engaged in their fight. You're engaged in you're running this department, and you're setting forth qualitative action. You're setting example, inviting reciprocation. And if they act out and break the rules too much, then we talked about like how to handle that and address that. But from the energetic point of view, that's what I would do. Everything we still talked about, but I would add this to that mix.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Greg.
If that doesn't work, take out the healing for the spirit of Mars and just throw it at him. Aim really good and
Oh,
yeah.
alrighty. Thank you, Greg.
Here's someone.
A question for anemia, is the supplement like beef organ capsules a good idea to take?
Yeah, you can use that. Lemon oil also works. Lemon oil. I take it we're talking about iron anemia. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, you could use glandulars like that, or desiccated liver, something like that. Lemon oil would work. Sometimes you can find plants that have a lot of iron in them. There used to be this plant. Remember that blend I have from like ages ago? It has a little bit of iron in it, but it has mostly plants. And the issue with iron when you take it internally is can be very constipating. And so the plants don't tend to do that. And I don't even know if they still make it, but it's called hemo herb, like HEMO, and then herb. And it's just a bunch of herbs that help with anemia. Yeah. I mean, it's probably from 20 years ago. I just kept the bottle because it had all the ingredients and stuff on it. But I guess we could try to duplicate that. I could probably duplicate it.
Yeah, you need to. There's different hemo things. I'm just on like scrolling, trying to see if there's that particular one we have, and I'm not seeing it. So maybe
Yeah.
trying to figure out how to do that. But that's interesting about the lemon. Could you, so how does the lemon work for the anemia then?
It elevates
It just elevates it.
Yeah.
Oh. It's an easy one.
Yeah. There might be something else. Let me look real quick. Garlic will also work. So I would say take some lemon, start eating a lot of Italian food, and extra garlic on that. honestly, with the garlic, deodorized capsules, usually about 1,000 milligrams a day, it can be helpful. Yeah. Certain chamomiles will also work, but the issue that I would say, especially with German chamomile, is it does elevate the white blood cell count as well. I would do it with lemon and garlic, and then the hemo herbs.
Is vitamin C is needed to assimilate iron, so maybe that's the lemon oil thing too.
Possibly. I'm not sure. I don't know that the lemon oil has a lot of vitamin C in it. Like lemon does, but the oil probably doesn't. So
What is acacia used for?
acacia is a pretty esoteric oil, mystical oil. So have we ever put that in the?
I'd have to look. I'm not sure. I know it's been in a handful of classes, but I don't know if you've done a thing for
See
it.
if I just have some I can give you.
Yeah, there's a whole write-up thing, yeah, that we have in under Acacia.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so I would look at it like that, but you can see it's mostly mystical and like acacia is what they made the Ark of the Covenant out of. Like the wood that's on the Ark of the Covenant is acacia wood. So, you know, there's always talk around the campfire that, you know, when there was the burning bush, you know, most likely that was symbolic. But if there was, the burning bush would probably be acacia if it was literal. So.
Tomorrow night, could you talk about the uses of each oil in the weekend kit, as the one-word explanation is so open and to
Yeah,
interpretation?
it's best not to be intellectual about that process. It's really good not to. I mean, I did that on purpose. It gives you an idea, but it is a very intuitive idea. So sitting there and talking about it literally takes the power out of the process. Yeah.
And I think even in the class, one of the things you did talk about was, okay, you have that, and then you do the process, and as you do that, the understanding really
Mhm.
unfolds
Yeah.
and
It
awakens.
will unfold, but it's really, if you start getting intellectual about the process won't work. Like that's why I waited so long to do that process. And so it gives you a little bit of an idea, like what to be looking for, but it's more about, you know, how like we do the journey within the heart and you go, okay, a little bit, a little bit, a little bit, and then you stop and you look around. It's a lot like that. Your intuition, like there's an unfolding, and that's what you're wanting to do with the plants. I mean, that is the teacher part of the plant. But when we look at it from the intellectual point of view, we define it and then we don't really allow for there to be that unfolding. And so if you approach it with the intellectual point of view, you'll not be able to turn that part of your mind on. So yeah.
And someone's asking what process is that? I just kind of typed in, it's the plant teachers part
Yeah,
of
from the
last
weekend. Yeah. Yeah.
And the person who asked said, okay,
Yeah.
I can see where I can connect.
Yeah. Yeah. It's you I mean, even if you just start playing with them and then you go back and you look at a word, you'll start going, oh. But even then, it will continue to keep unfolding. So, like, you know, I've been doing this for, oh God, I'm getting old, like 20, 25, 30 years now. And I would say things that I even did 30 years ago, when I still work it, it's still unfolding. Like it's still unfolding. And because like in when I was first doing it, I was the same way. I was like, well, what's this do? What's that do? And I was working with an indigenous person who was helping me with this, and they would even go further and not even call plants by names. Like you wouldn't go like, oh, that's echinacea, or oh, that's da 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 da. They wouldn't even, you had to connect with a plant and not even know what the plant was until much later. And so, I think that's a little bit excessive, but it's the same idea, you know. Yeah. Yeah. Let me know how that works for you. Let me know. And let that process unfold, and then let's talk in a few weeks or a month and see your experience.
So they said, so we really need to do all of them a few at a time and see what happens.
You can do one at a time. We made the kid big enough to where, you don't have to fire through and do them all at once. But I would say, keep looking at the list, and you'll start to notice, I feel drawn to this one, or I feel drawn to that one. And I would pick one out and just work it for a little bit. If you want to do 2 or 3, you can, but I would say start picking one and just work it for a day or two, and see what happens. Yeah.
Yes, that is a whole class.
Mm.
And we'll get it up on the website. I don't know, maybe this week. I'm working on getting these previous classes up. But if there's any classes we don't have up on the website that you kind of remember that you want to do, always feel free to email me at info@plantpiranhaoils.com, and I am super happy to get that. And then another question. One of my questions is how to increase my white blood count. Greg mentioned Roman chamomile.
German chamomile. Use German chamomile. German chamomile for that is like Marines hitting the beach. Like it will be.
Is that the one where you saying German chamomile and yarrow and like 2 to 3 drops, or was it just German
Just
chamomile?
German chamomile.
Okay.
Yeah, the yarrow is more for the excessive bleeding.
Okay. Two to 3 drops.
A couple of times a day.
A couple times a day.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it will definitely elevate white blood cells. It elevates white blood cells to the point where when you really need to induce healing, that's going to be associated with elevated white blood cell counts. You can almost induce this like state of healing associated with white blood cell activity just with the German chamomile.
Thank you.
Hey, Greg, it was Cassandra that asked that. I'm finally able to join. It's been forever.
Oh, hey.
Yeah, and and actually let me in. I've been super busy. A lot of good things are happening, but I find it odd that I do feel like my emotions and everything are pretty good. So I often wonder why we still have these persnickety little things that come up. You're like, I'm doing really well.
Right.
What, right?
Yeah.
So I know there are layers that are still needing to clear,
Yeah.
but from a physical standpoint, what's ironic is once I started layering all my blood work, I noticed that the white blood cells and the thyroid issue all started in 2012 at almost the exact same time. But I didn't come clear until I put the pieces. So I started like putting everything in a spreadsheet.
Mhm.
Now, immediately what was interesting, and this is just food for fact for anyone who's listening, my functional medicine doctor put me on ivermectin. And
Mhm.
I called and I said, I'm feeling a little better. Let me go get my and it was just more of an observation of my blood work, not the way I was feeling
Mhm.
per se. but I went and got the blood work, and immediately my results went from like 3.3 to 5.9. I went to a hematologist, and basically he's like, "Why are you here?" Right? Because I had met my deductible, and she said, "Just go anyway." And of course, there was nothing for them to do because I was perfectly fine. But then after not taking the ivermectin or what have you, my numbers go back down to 3.3. So they're still around 3.3, 3.4. And now I'm back trying the ivermectin
Yeah.
and the
So the
physical.
medication is kind of stimulating
It's the antiviral,
yeah.
antiparasitic route is what I've been going, like
I, I,
chlorella
I
and stuff
would
like
I
that.
would use the German chamomile, like use it for a week or two and then go off of it. Like you could use it 3 weeks and then go off of it for a week and then do it again another 3 weeks or so.
That
And
sounds
then
fine.
I would also like, how is the thyroid? The thyroid doing okay?
Well, I've been on the thyroid medicine on the Armor for like what do you call it, 60 milligrams or a
Mhm.
milligram. It would go be really high, like 5.5, and so they're trying to keep me down around the 2 range. Um, so but as far as the numbers, I don't know if it's hypo or hyper. I just know that when I first was diagnosed, the number was 5, one of the big numbers, I forget if it was the TSH or the T3, T4, but it was a 5.9 or 5 point, it was high. So I'm been on, it's just ironic that both of those happened, whether it's causation, correlation, whatever. I feel like there's something deeper that's at the root of a lot of this, and no one has really put it together. But in my mind, I could almost see the puzzle fit, but not quite. It's like a missing piece.
Hmm. I would even try clove. Like the
Okay.
clove can be very balancing to the thyroid and also balancing to immune function. And I
Okay.
think you get a lot of bang for your effort there with the clove and then also the German chamomile. Like I
Okay.
think it's a pretty straightforward way to treat that.
And application.
Both of them are going to be internal, by the way.
Okay. And does that also, and of course, with us women dealing with hot flashes, and now that's another layer that's added in since I've talked to you. I'm thinking that it seems separate, but I just wonder if there's not a domino effect from all of it.
How old are you?
53. Yeah,
Yeah,
I'm just
it's probably a
officially in
temporary
menopause.
thing, but I would say like sage might calm that down, but a lot of times I have women use Vitex and
Yeah, yeah, yeah. The
couple
chase
drops a
berry.
day, like on the temples or on the wrist, and
Okay.
should calm that down.
I'll be placing another order. And by the way, I appreciate the freebie.
Oh,
I
you're
was
so
already
welcome.
thinking about an order, and it just prompted me to go ahead and move on it. So
Yeah,
thank you very much
yeah.
for
My
that.
pleasure. Enjoy. Yeah,
Thanks.
you're so welcome.
And then go ahead. Yeah, we have like a few minutes, so go ahead, Lali. You had another
Yeah, I have a
question.
couple.
It ends up being actually a follow-up now, because of the question that that Cassandra just asked about menopause. So somebody I was just talking to yesterday, yeah, like excessive sweating, and basically because I remember you mentioned sage before, but then you would use.
And then there's also a tincture of black cohosh. Like that can be helpful, but usually I do Vitex and then augment with the sage or the black cohosh. But if it's just a hot flash, usually the Vitex will nail it. But if there's like a lot of excessive sweating,
Yeah.
like sage, especially like at night, I put sage on before you go to bed, and even a tincture of the black cohosh.
And then the sage, so topically, and then I remember you mentioned anise before. Is that helpful in any way?
For what is it?
Anise.
For
Is that
that's more for like a nervous system imbalance. So probably not.
okay?
Yeah.
So okay, and I
And
actually
if I said
mentioned
it
to
for a person, it was because they had some sort of imbalance.
okay, and here's just like age-wise, I think it's
Yeah.
and the sage would be good for what mainly like the agitation. It feels to me like
Reducing the
with
sweating.
that.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Yeah.
that would be the reason for that. So using it what just continuously.
Yeah, I'd use it daily for a little while. Yeah.
Okay.
For a while, you kind of condition the body where you might not need it, because it doesn't go on forever, but still, no reason to be uncomfortable for that period. So I would just say use it until it calms down.
And what about the no sweat blend that
Yeah,
you
you
have?
could use that. Sure.
What's in this thing? What's in this one?
Boy, I have to look that one up. I don't remember where I had that. Because I actually, when I made it for another reason. And we stumbled on.
Oh, that's
Yeah, I
right.
gave it to a few people, and they were like, women were like, when I use that, I don't sweat at night. Mm. I'm going to have to find it, and we'll get it back to you because we're going to have to jump over.
Yeah,
But
that's what
it's in my
I was
notes.
about to ask. Yeah. It's all good. I'll follow up on that. Thank
Yeah.
you.
You're so welcome. Okay, you guys, we're going to jump over to the Astara prayer petition blessing, and going to do a little bit of meditation / kind of prayer work. Just usually about 15 minutes or so. But if you want to join us and generate a little good karma, and also just kind of put yourself in a nice little place, join us. We're posting the link. And if not, we have the study group tomorrow night, and then I think a lot of you have had the class that we're doing on the weekend, and so hopefully we see you either this weekend or the following weekend's a free class. So hopefully we see you sometime soon. So